Welcome to the show. Welcome to Your Thought Life podcast. I am your host, Michael Anderson. Today, we're going to dive into the topic of where will you be December 2025? And the reason why we're doing this, family, is we go through an entire year sometimes remaining in the same state, the same condition with the same outcomes. It is our sincere desire to ensure that you have and are equipped with the tools that you need to break this cycle. This is your moment to envision life in business and career advancement the way you've always dreamed of. We just started this year. We have 11 solid months to reshape, to retool everything that is necessary for us to pursue with great fervor and obtain our dreams, our goals, our aspirations. Today, we're going to explore why most people stay stuck, how you can take actionable steps to break free, and what science has to say about creating the future, a future that you can be proud of. When you think about December 2025, I just want you to ask yourself a very simple question. What is it that you desire to do in this specific year that checks the box and makes you feel incredibly good and fulfilled on the inside? Unfortunately, there's going to be a percentage of us that are not feeling excitement, but instead we're feeling dread. We've got to deal with that. Many of us also are not in a place to really understand the power that exists in setting a clear vision. It is through the vision, it is through seeing yourself doing the vision, having the tenacity to execute the vision that gives us the clarity necessary to move forward with creating a set of goals, a set of milestones, a set of tasks that bring this to fruition. Neuroscience is incredibly clear here. It's telling us that our brains operate somewhat like a GPS system. When you set the destination and focus on it, your brain begins to filter opportunities and actions that align with that goal. Without the vision, you're driving around aimlessly without the aid of GPS. I want you to be able to design what your outcomes look like, what your end state looks like, and remain in firm control of that objective. We're going to now take a very close look at what it is that takes place that keeps us in that stuck state. When I was a service member, we were often asked to share the big idea, the bottom line up front. The bottom line up front as to why people stay stuck is because they're caught in a cycle of reactive thinking. They're constantly putting out fires instead of creating a plan. The design that comes along with the vision is absent. The cognitive science is revealing to us that habitual thinking patterns shape 95% of our daily decisions. Guess what? If you're not actively participating in that habitual thinking, if you're not really engaged with that 95%, you will find yourself drifting through life in that state we call stuck. Moreover, if we're replaying fears, doubts, and outdated strategies of time past, we're programming our future to look exactly like the past. And hence, the vision is what allows us to escape those previous failed attempts, those memories that are associated with us not hitting the mark, and create for ourselves something net new that allows us to break the cycle. This is absolutely doable. We're showing people how to do it every single month. You too can do it. And I'm going to give you a couple of actionable steps right now that you can begin to utilize when you find yourself in this state. And please understand that when you're in a state of being, it's going to require you to do something radically different to break out of the state. If there is to be a break in the state, a move, if you will, from a negative mental mindset to a positive mental mindset, from a I don't think I'm able to do it to a I believe all things are possible. If you are to make that change, you are going to have to do some things differently. You're going to have to submit to this notion of creating a vision. We want you to write down what 2025 looks like in as much detail as you can. If it's your business, if it's your career, if it's a personal pursuit, if it's a lifestyle change, if it's a relationship matter, all of these things, each category that applies to you, write those down in the greatest degree of detail. You should know that science says that writing goals activates the reticular activation system, which makes you more likely to notice opportunities that are aligned with your vision. You create the vision, now you've written it down, you've put together a tremendous amount of detail. Now your brain is focused on finding the pieces, the parts, the inputs that are necessary for you to achieve that objective. It's literally that simple. Number two, identifying your limiting beliefs, the stories that we tell ourselves that hold us back. Write those down as well. Write them down with everything that you've got in you, with every ounce of detail that makes you feel the way you sometimes feel, such that that story in your heart and mind have become de facto. Once you've done that, I want you to then do some replacement exercises. As an example, I'm not good at sales. I want you to replace that with I'm learning and improving my sales skills every single day. There are additional bodies of evidence that have shown us for greater than 40 years that cognitive behavior therapy and this act of reframing negative beliefs is a very instrumental component for us to rewire our brains for success. It's sort of like a whiteboard where there's some specific information on the board that no longer serves us. By the reprogramming, we simply wipe away those things that are no longer serving us and we replace them. The replacement is key. And we replace them with things that do serve us, that do assist us with the attainment of our goal. Number three, we're going to break goals down into manageable pieces. For, I guess, better than 12 years, I've been sharing this with different bodies of individuals, sometimes in prepared speeches, sometimes in keynotes, other times right here on the podcast. We talked about the vision. We talked about writing down in vivid detail what that looks like. Talked about also the power that we have through CBT or cognitive behavior therapy to reframe certain types of limiting beliefs. Now we move to a stage where we have goals. And if you're like me, you've got long-term goals, 2 years and out. You've got short-term goals, 1 year within. We then take those short-term goals that are 1 year, and we break those into 4 quarters, 3 months per quarter for a total of 4. And we look at a high level, what are the 4 things that are needed if it takes a year? This is an example. What are the 4 things that are needed? The 4 key completions that allow us to move through that particular task with success. And then once we understand those 4 big ideas, those quarterly milestones, then we're going to back into monthly. Then we're going to back in to weekly. It sounds like a lot of work, but once you've done it 2 or 3 times, what you're going to find is that this is one of the best things you've ever done for yourself, to so-called carve up the elephant into bite-sized pieces. Now the feeling of overwhelm has absolutely no way to grip you, because you're able to see the big picture, all of the things that make it up, but you're only focused on a week, then a month, then a quarter. The last thing is prioritization, and not just prioritization, but prioritization with consistency. We need a commitment, family. Without the commitment, we are not going to be able to execute in a way that gets this done. It's phenomenal to have a vision. It's great to be prepared to reframe negative thoughts coming in and along the journey. And it's phenomenal to have a deep, abiding set of goals that are broken down into manageable pieces. But if there is no execution to follow, all of that work we've done in the first 3 steps is for nothing. We're going to commit to daily habits that move us closer to the goal. Every single day we need to check in. Every single week we need to check in. Every month we need to check in. There's a good degree of work that I do just with helping people on the check-in part. We call that accountability. It doesn't matter if you're networking or marketing, or if you're doing what we're talking about, personal development. Consistency compounds over time. Momentum is a driver of success. You need prioritization with consistency to be able to hit your goal that you've set. Some time ago, I read a book called, I believe it was Atomic Habits, and one of the premises of that book was small habits create exponential results. This is precisely what we need to keep the ball rolling. That was your framework. That was the framework that you can use over and over and over for several types of goals, dreams, or aspirations. It doesn't matter where they fall in that suite of things you desire to do. It's unilaterally good for any goal, okay? You should know going into this that you're going to need to overcome some resistance as well. And resistance is normal. It's not to be this big old thing that, we've got to reconcile over and over, although in the beginning that you may have to speak to resistance, but it's normal. Fear, failure, or success, these things pop up in our heads. It's just, for us, we need to recognize what's going on. And anytime we put ourselves in a place of discomfort, of unknowing, then the safety and security aspects of our core are going to kick in. And when they kick in, they're going to surface these thoughts to get you to back up. If you understand that process is taking place, then you know you don't have to be subject to it any longer. And you can use mindfulness techniques. You can use journaling. We talked about visualization as well to help manage and curtail resistance as it's going to pop up along the journey. And science confirms with unequivocal results that mindfulness reduces cortisol levels. You can do this in the morning to set your intent, to set your day, to set the tone, the tempo. You can do it midday like I do as part of a reboot sequence to make sure you're staying on task for that day. And then you can do it at the end of the day as sort of a post-mortem, collect lessons learned, how you might do this day better the next time, or a situation you encountered better the next time. It's all about learning and continuous improvement. I wanted you today to, in earnest, have a set of tools that you could use to make sure you hit your goals in 2025. Vision is the key. The choices you make today will determine whether you celebrate massive success or wish you had started sooner. I'm trying to get you on the front end of that equation, massive success, rather than wishing you had started sooner or looking back and going, I wish I had even started. Set a compelling vision, challenge those limiting beliefs, take constant, actionable steps, Remember, you're going to be faced with resistance and it's normal. Know that your brain is going to try to protect you, but you don't need to be protected. Then finally, remember this. Your future is not dictated by your past. It's not. It's shaped by your thoughts and actions right now while you're in this moment. Let's band together and make 2025 the best year ever. And let's be proud and grateful for what we're going to achieve in this fantastic year. I know you've got this. Thanks for joining me today. I certainly appreciate your time and for your attention. Feel free to connect with us on Linktree. The link is in the description, or rather in the show notes. Do consider leaving us a rating and a review if this content is helpful for you. It really helps the program reach more people that are like-minded. You should know that you are enough. You can do it. You are uniquely equipped to realize your goals. Until next time, take care and keep pushing forward.